Hi there, Dominic the CX guy, this guy. Nice to see you again. Today we're continuing our lesson about Zendesk setup, how to set it from scratch. And today specifically, we're going to discuss SLAs, service level agreements. Before we start, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel, leave a like or leave a comment with special content that you want to see. I'd be happy to share some of that content. What I wanted to get through was that you can contact me anytime. So I will start adding some video notations on my videos to be more helpful for you. So now continuing our discussion. So Zendesk consultant, 8 years of experience, 2 years as Zendesk partner. I have been subcontracted by Zendesk to work on projects exactly like this. So I'm sharing the methodologies all for free, all for you. So best practices as freely as you want and as much as you want. And yeah, so let's get to it. Service level agreements. Right, so this is, we're getting close to our finishing of the Zendesk setup, and service level agreements are definitely a, yeah, one of the closing bits, which brings everything together. It's not necessarily reporting, which definitely brings everything together, but this is one of the final touches. Without the setup before, right? So without what we've done before, SLAs are not possible, right? So we need to set up views, we need to set up business rules, we need to set up routing, we need to set up automations, we need to set up a lot of things in order to obviously data capturing. So, right, so everything to do with priority and ticket statuses. So everything, it leads up to this moment, right? So nothing is by chance, everything is leading up to a crescendo, if you will. So let me share my screen real quick. I want to show you where we are. So this is the process, right? So we started from the learn phase, then we had, yeah, the business requirements, business flows training, discovery sessions, and then we have the design sessions, right? So we have a general walkthrough of Zendesk, then we have people set up with your agents and customers, ticketing around data collection, then around productivity, channels for email, chat, agent workspace, social messaging. Now we had business rules, triggers, automations, and now we're with SLAs. Let's mark this as with a checkbox, and then we have reporting, and then I guide you through yeah, a checklist before your go live, and that's it. You're done. Okay. So as far as the process, that's it. Now let me go back to my face again real quick. So what we'll be doing, as per usual, if you're new here, we're going to be first sharing the process, and then we're going to have a slide deck, which we discuss, where we discuss the best practices, and we do a little bit of theory, right? We remember what you've learned in your trainings. We do a little bit of recap, then we do best practices, and then we jump into Zendesk to see how to do it, right? So yeah, that's what we have to do. Can't function without coffee, so just need like a quick moment for coffee. I imagine that I will need to edit these out in the future, but today is not that day, so hopefully you're armed with a lot of patience. Let's get to it. So let me share my screen. So I will show you my slide deck. All right, so design principles for service level agreements. So prioritization tool used in conjunction with views, right? So can be used to order tickets based on specific metrics. So as you may already know, so SLAs, or if you don't, SLAs work with a combination of priority, ticket priority, and ticket status. So these are always in conjunction with one another. So you can't have one without the other, right? So in order for these to work well, you need to make sure that you have a prioritization system in place, and you also use the Zendesk statuses in, yeah, correctly, right? So I'm not going to walk you through Zendesk statuses and how they work, or the prioritization, because this is a lesson that we've covered already, and I invite you to go back and see the lessons, yeah, in the playlist, in the Zendesk setup playlist. You'll be able to find that as well. So today we're just going to focus on how to bring that together. So the SLAs that we have available in Zendesk, so service level agreements, are first reply time, which is the time between the ticket creation and the first public comment that comes from an agent, which is displayed in minutes and also hours. From my view, this is one of the most important ones, and it's directly linked to your customer satisfaction. So if your first reply time is low, then your customer satisfaction is bound to be also high, actually. So the actual opposite of the first reply time. So first reply time is low, customer satisfaction is high. So direct correlation in there, because people like to see that they're engaged. They like to see that everything revolves around them, and you are helping them get their issue solved. So even if they're pissed about your product or service, they will be happy that they have a team working for them to get their issue solved. So then comes the next reply time, which is the time between the oldest unanswered customer comment and the next public comment from an agent, so also displayed in hours and minutes. Then there's the periodic update time, which is the time between each public comment from agents displayed in minutes and the SLA is still active on pending, right? So if a user reopens a ticket, the periodic update time will not start until an agent makes another comment, okay? Then you have a possible update. This is also the time between each public comment from agents when the ticket is in status new, open, on hold as well. So it's only pausing when the ticket is put on into pending, right? So this is the pausable update. Then you have requester wait time, which again, in my view, is not again, but in my view, is the second most important one. So this is directly linked to your customer. The time that the customer, the combined time of the customer that they spend in new, open, and on hold statuses, and the SLA will pause on pending. Again, I cannot stress enough how important this one is, because it is related directly to your customer, right? So this is the time that they have to wait from the moment that they've sent the request to you and until you solve it for them, right? So this is it's very important to keep in mind that this revolves around a customer and how you manage their expectations, how you manage their feelings, because they tend to be a little bit cranky, because they're not all of them, but people tend to be cranky if something doesn't work, especially if they paid for something and it doesn't deliver on the expectations, then they're going to be pissed. If you don't have a quick reaction to what their complaint is to actually solve it, then they're probably going to give you up as a service. So first reply time, get back to them fast, get them engaged, and then have your product well documented to be able to solve the request fast so they're happy with it, right? So don't leave room for vagueness, don't leave room for misinterpretation, and also collect feedback, right? So never ignore bad feedback. That's the direct, let's say, the if you will, I'm trying to make this a comparison which makes sense, which is like a bullet through the heart of the problem, right? So if you don't ignore negative feedback, because I've seen so many companies do that. This probably they're going to give us a bad review for this one, and they just put like a tag in there, which the automation for customer satisfaction just knows not to touch those, right? So it ignores them. Not cool if you ask me. Then you have agent work time, another SLA. So this is the combined time spent in the new and open statuses, and the SLA will pause on pending and on hold. So agent work time, this is also a good one to measure team productivity, because this always revolves around how well your agents are performing the work inside Zendesk. It doesn't count the on hold status, because even though we're still the request is still with us and the customer is waiting for a reply, this is not directly what we put on agent's shoulder. So on hold status in Zendesk, if you remember, we use it for third parties and people that don't have access to Zendesk, or third party vendors, partners, and whatnot. So everyone that can help us with the resolution, right? So delivery, system down, developers that need to get back to an agent and to get back to the client. Okay, good. So then you have hours of operation, right? So you have business hours and calendar hours. It's advisable that you use business hours because calendar hours can be confusing, especially during the weekends, because if you don't offer 24/7 support, then yeah, it's not necessarily the easiest to keep track of not to keep track, but to keep a well-balanced SLA system. So use business hours if you offer support from Monday to Friday. If you offer from Monday to Sunday, then yeah, maybe consider using calendar hours. But if you don't offer 24/7, don't use calendar hours because it's going to create so much confusion. Okay, so this is as far as let's say what I have to say about best practices. The ones that I always advise companies to start out with is the first reply time and requester wait time, right? So if you want to just start using Zendesk and use it well, get used to it, and first as well get used to SLAs. Start with the first reply time. Don't make your life so complicated. I've said this many times. I've seen so many companies start with all of the SLAs, and they were so fed up with them, and because then nobody used them, and it confused the out of agents, so it confused them very badly, and then they just dropped it altogether. Then they kept on using Zendesk and getting used to it after a year and a half, and then a year and a half later they come like, hey Dominic, can you help us with the SLAs? I think we're ready now, right? So if you want to just, I know you're trying to do a good job, and I know you're trying to keep management off your back, and I know you're trying to be productive, I know you're trying to prove some stuff to yourself and to everyone else, and I know you wouldn't be here if you wouldn't want to be doing a good job. So take my advice, start simple, and then gradually, as you get used to it, start adding more complexity. So I would advise start with first reply time, just to make sure that you keep a well balanced for how fast your agents are getting back to your customers, right? Not a robot, not some sort of let me see, get in my face again. So not a robot, not an automated response to say, yeah, we'll be in touch and blah, 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 but an actual human that, hey, I'm Gregory, I'm Michael, I am Deborah, I am Alexandra, whatever. And I'm an actual human, I am here to help, right? So I'm investigating, I'm asking for more information from you. I reached out to the Dalai Lama to help you, whatever. I'm just trying to keep this a bit loose. So yeah, maybe you follow the video and shut it off so quick. So yeah, first supply time. So keep that in control first, right? So make sure that your agents are getting back to customers with an informed answer or an informed request for more information, or etc. So do that well, and then start adding complexity to it. So then add, for example, first request await time. So the time that the customer waits from the moment that they send in the tickets to you and until you solve it for them, right? So do these two well, and you will only have benefits from this. Okay, so obviously, if you are a company that sells services, like for example pizza, you obviously want to have, for example, agent work time as well included in there, because obviously you need to get the order as fast as possible to your customers, otherwise they get pissed. So especially if you have like Domino's does 30 minutes, or it's free. So you definitely have to have an accountability for your agents. But that's, let's say, not an edge case, but it's, yeah, not most companies sell pizza, let's be honest. So it's an edge case, right? Or ice cream, right? Imagine selling ice cream and needing to be on time. Okay, so yeah, that's the theory. That's the best practices. That's some advice from someone who's been doing this for 8 years and who's been, yeah, working at Zendesk or subcontracted by Zendesk to work on these projects. And now let's get into the technical side of it, or the setup, which is like probably what everyone is waiting for. So I am a one who takes a long time to deliver on these, let's say, what people want, or hopefully this is what people want, or I don't know, actually. I know what processes work inside Zendesk. That's the number one thing. Okay, so I have a view, but let's go to admin. Let's go to, yeah, business rules, and then to SLAs. Okay, so let's add an SLA policy. And if you watch the previous videos, you know that we have integrated an email, which is Dominic the CS guy at Gmail, which is a Gmail of mine that I also use for YouTube. And I would like to make it so that I apply an SLA to that specific email, right? So that's what I want to set up, because we have it. So let's see, SLA for Dominic the CX guy. Don't use this one to get in touch. Use hi at Dominic CX. SLA for Dominic CX guy. No description. So, okay, so much like any business rule, this works with apply all conditions or apply any condition. So I'm just going to use two actually conditions here, all, right? So I want to say that, sorry, I have typed so many things in there. So I want channel is email, and I want to say received at is Dominic the CX guy. Okay, so I want all of these conditions to be met in order for this SLA to be functioning, right? So now I have my targets. These are my targets. This is everything that we went through previously, right? So first reply time, and look, you have a nice upon hover, you have a nice graphic that shows you exactly what this means with a little bit of more information. So we have a nice toolbar, agent work time, next reply time, periodic update, pausable update, and hours of operation. So I'm going to only set up two, the ones that I recommend you start with. And unless your business functioning like, for example, a pizza delivery, you're going to need these, yes, but most companies only need these two, and you're going to be in the top 5% of companies that do customer service in an excellent fashion, and you'll be top. Not just by Zendesk, companies that use Zendesk to offer customer service excellency, but all of them out there. Okay, so yeah, think about that. Okay, so I want first reply time for urgent, right? So this is urgent priority. So I want 1 hour for urgent. I want for high priority, I want 2 hours. I want for normal 3 hours, and for low, you guessed it, 4 hours. Request to wait time, I'm just going to double that, right? So if it's a urgent request, I want my customer to wait 2 hours, no more. For high requests, I want 4. For normal, I want 6. And for low, I want, you guessed it, 8. Okay, I am definitely going to use, in this case, business hours. I can use business hours, business hours, business hours. Okay, save it. So I have now saved this. Now, we are going to test this in just a quick second. However, be assured, be mindful that the SLAs will not work unless tickets have priority added to them, okay? So these can be whatever you want, but there's been many cases where even I've had this hiccup where like, oh, why isn't there an SLA applied to my tickets? It's because, yeah, everything was set up correctly, but I did not have a priority on my ticket. So ticket came into the system, but it had neither high priority, neither low, neither normal, neither high, neither nothing, neither urgent, nothing, right? So it's like, what's wrong? Why are you not working? That's why it's not working, because you don't have a priority added to them. And also another very big reason why you you can't see SLAs is because you need to add them to your views. Okay, right? So you see I have a view here in which I have a column which is called next SLA breach, right? So I make these also group in an ascending order, so so you are able to see them. Okay, so now let's go and create a ticket. Let's use okay, so let me go ahead and copy the email that I'm using. Channel's email, and let's see what email I'm using here. Ah, yes, I said I'm using this one. Copy. All right, so let me send an email. Okay. No. Testing. Ooh, SLAs for Dominic, CX guy. All right, so I have an email here. I'm sending it. And now I'm going to go over to my groups, unsolved tickets in my groups. This is where I will be looking for to see if we have any tickets coming in. Let's refresh our screen, and here we go. SLAs for Dominic the CX guy. Less than a minute ago, just came in. Wow, nice. Okay, so we have it in here. Unsolved tickets in my groups. It appears in here because I have a rule that if tickets come, I have a business rule, which I'll show you. If tickets are being sent to this Gmail, Dominic the CX guy at Gmail, assign them to the German group. Okay. So let me turn off my apps. Let me turn on my events. I want to show you exactly what's going on here. All right, so this ticket came in. I see the SLAs, right? So this is my SLA. So I have reply in 3 hours and solve in 21, right? So reply in 3 hours is because I have a normal priority. I have a normal priority. And solve in 21 hours, right? Because I have to solve it within 6, right? Because that's my requester wait time. So 6 hours, which are business hours, right? So business hours, because my working schedule is going to be finished in 4 hours roughly, I still have until tomorrow morning, I still have 2 hours when I go back into the office to solve this request, okay? But until then, I just have to reply within these 3 hours. Okay, so now let's go through the business rules to see what happened here. So priority normal. Remember I told you that if the ticket does not have a priority, then it will not show its SLAs. So I have a trigger which sets a normal priority for tickets coming to Dominic the CX guy. So coming to this email, right? So by default, any ticket that comes into the system, I set the ticket to normal priority. Agents can then read up, see what the ticket is about, and then maybe bump the priority to high or to urgent, right? So, or they can just drop it to low. That is just depending on whatever type of flows you have, or you can just make the ticket have low priority, and then agents go on top of it. This is all down to what your business is like. Okay. Then I have a group assigned to it, which is the reason why it appears in my view, like all tickets. Unsolved tickets in my groups, right? So I have a trigger that assigns this emails coming to this email address to the German group. Then I have a notification requester, notify requester NCCs of receive request. This is a notification trigger, right? Which tells the user, yeah, your request has come in, all good. Notify requester of receive request. So this was also assigned to someone as well, which is good. Let's see what else. SLA policy for Dominic the CX guy. As I see, I have it here. Then first reply time, 3 hours. SLA assigned by the SLA we just created. See it? We can just click it and just go to it. Again, requester wait time 6 hours. Business Dominic the CX SLA for Dominic CX guy. Okay, so this is working as is expected. Now I'm an agent, and if I am going to reply, hi Dominic, I am going to need a copy of your invoice in order to help you. looking forward to your update. Well, agent. Right, put the ticket in pending, and now the SLA will be put on pause. You see, here we go. The SLA is now on pause, which is awesome. So if I go back to my view, I will be able to see the exact same thing, right? So ticket is impending, SLA is paused, and yeah, this is what it would look like. So the other thing that I wanted to show you was, yeah, I know I went over the lesson of how to create views, but I'm just going to go real quick in here, right? So this is my view, and these are my formatting options, or the columns that I'm looking at, right? So I have subject next to Sla breach, which is the one that you saw there, very pretty with the green, and then requester, date, status, and etc. So go back here, right? So next to Sla breach. Okay. So yeah, that's about it. I try to keep things shorter, simpler, and faster, better, stronger, whatever, Daft Punk song, doesn't matter. Anyways, I hope this helped. If it didn't, then ask me questions. I'd be happy to answer whatever you are thinking about. And yeah, if I don't get back to you, it's because I have so many things to do. I just saw an article that I had written 7 months ago, and I said, hey, ask me questions, and somebody did after a month or so after I written the article, and I just saw that comment and I feel so embarrassed. I'll just go now and answer that comment. So write to me, I will get back to you, I promise. Just if it's not like 5 minutes after you write to me, it's going to be the next day. Okay, see you, bye.